You are listening to Single Smart Female. This is Jen, explaining the possibilities in your love life and examining your mantourage dating experiences. I am here to help you do life and love on your terms by tipping the scales of love permanently in your favor. So don't forget to text this episode to all of your single smart girlfriends, and let's get started.
Hey, it's your romantic fairy godmama coming to you today with a single smart female listener question. Now, today's listener question comes all the way from the wonderful state of Florida, from Miss What's Normal. And Miss What's Normal writes, Dear Jen, if a man isn't consistently communicating in the beginning, does that mean he isn't interested? I struggle with what's normal and what's not. Example, if we go on a few dates, but I only hear from him every once in a while. And okay, let's dig into this, because this is actually probably one of the biggest reasons women find me is my stance on talking to guys that are inconsistent in the beginning. Because truth be told, a lot of us women get very attached to these kind of guys because there's a high chemistry between the two of them, but the inconsistency drives us crazy. And if you know my story, you know that my current husband was extremely inconsistent in the beginning, sometimes not contacting me for as much as 5 weeks at a time. And I get all kinds of questions like, how did you deal with that? How, what does it mean? And all that kind of stuff. Because the mainstream dating narrative is if he isn't contacting you consistently, that means he is not that into you. If you remember that book, he's just not that into you. And it's only partially right. That's only a partial truth. So let's talk about that for just a second, and then we'll get into what's really important to know here. So let me make that statement. If a man is not being consistent with you, it means for the moment, he most likely, it's not actually 100% all the time, but most likely he doesn't have a high level of interest in pursuing a romantic relationship with you for the moment. That's the key phrase there, is for the moment. Why? We'll get to that in just a second, because that has something to do with learning to become an adored woman. It also could mean things like he doesn't have a lot of confidence with women in general in dating, and so he isn't pursuing something consistently. It can mean he has drama going on in his life with either work or possibly with another woman in his life that he might be dating as well. Doesn't necessarily mean that he's in an exclusive relationship with her. And also could mean that he's also dating somebody else that maybe he has a higher level of interest in. And I know I hear all of your alarm bells going off because we're taught that this is a red flag. Hands down, every time it's a red flag. And I say no, it's not necessarily a red flag, but you need to listen up and to understand it properly. The truth be told is all of those things definitely indicate, again, goes back to not a high level of interest towards pursuing a romantic relationship with you for the moment. And that's okay. Why? Because if you are here with me, you don't need to struggle anymore on what's normal and what's not. You're learning how to mantourage date, which means you're turning the dating world on its head and making dating fun and an amazing experience for you. And that's really important here, because what so many women still do every day, and I hear more and more stories about it. I listen to all kinds of crap about dating on television and how challenging it is. It's either on television or I hear other experts or so-called experts and all kinds of stuff. And they're talking about how challenging it is and how hard it is. They make it into something that it really shouldn't be, because truth be told, the quality of your dating experience can be a direct indication of the quality of your relationship. The dating experience itself, if you flip that on its head and make it something incredible by learning how to mantourage date, that's how it leads to a great relationship. I hear women tell, well, I didn't have a great dating experience, but I have an awesome, relationship. Well, yeah, that does happen. But more often than not, women get caught in this cycle of shitty dating experiences and shitty experiences with men. And then finally, they just settle with somebody because they're tired of being on their own. They just want something. And they have all kinds of crap in their head and excuses of why it can't be great. And it can be great. It can be wonderful. Even if the guy is inconsistent in the beginning. Why? Because it doesn't have to bother you. Let him be inconsistent. That was one of the first thing I did. Was I didn't make it mean anything if he was inconsistent. I was going to have this experience as I was learning how to date differently and interact with men differently and turn my attention to men who were paying attention to me at the time, unlike my current husband who was very inconsistent at the beginning. And if he decided to work his own kinks out and step up for me, great. If he didn't, which he did, by the way, if he didn't, so be it. I was going to end up with what I wanted no matter what, which was going to be a great relationship. And I was going to have so much fun in the meanwhile. And that's exactly what I did and what I'm going to encourage you to do. So the very first thing, again, you have to understand is it doesn't matter if he's inconsistent. It does mean that most likely he doesn't have a high level of interest towards you for pursuing a romantic relationship in this moment, but that can change. That can change in a heartbeat, which is what happened with me and my husband, which I've seen happen with other clients time and time again. It really doesn't matter if you're willing to enjoy your dating experiences. So number one is it doesn't matter if he's inconsistent. Number two is your objective on every date that you go on is to have an amazing time. And it doesn't mean you have to have like a high level of attraction that first date. You can have fun with any guy. Okay? And you can make it fun for yourself. Now, dates don't have to be hours on end. And in fact, I don't recommend that your dates are hours on end, especially in the beginning. But you can have an hour, maybe possibly an hour and a half date that's just a ton of fun, regardless if there's a ton of chemistry at the beginning, so that you can just relax and go into the date and just have a blast and start to learn about yourself romantically as things are starting to develop. And develop it with different men at one time. That way, if you don't hear from Joe Blow, who is not being consistent with you right now, even though he might have knocked your socks off with a kiss one night, big deal. Because Mr. Blue Eyes over here, you just can't get enough of the way that he just drinks you in because he's just so cute and has that quirky little smile at the same time. As he looks at you and he peers into your soul and you're looking at you and you're thinking, and you fall in love with the way that he really appreciates your specific type of beauty and makes you feel seen, or the conversations, the meaningful conversations you have with another man that blow you away on a different level, or the excitement that you feel and the butterflies and the just all these different experiences that you could be having, so that you don't have to worry about exactly what's normal and what's not. That's really important, just so you can learn how to enjoy the experience. And the more you're enjoying the experience, I'm going to tell you, ladies, there's a direct correlation with the more you are enjoying the experience, the faster the relationship comes. There's always a direct correlation with that. Okay, so number 2 is have a great time on each date that you go on and really allow yourself to learn about yourself. We think that we know exactly what kind of man we want, but the truth is we don't. There's so much variety out there, and a lot of times we're locked into this one idea of what we're really attracted to or what we really want, and that can come in so many different packages, but we shut it down and we keep it away because we've locked into one specific idea of chemistry. So okay, have a great time on each date that you go on. And number 3, you have to keep your options open in Mantourage date. Now, I know I've been saying this the whole time throughout this, but it is so very important that you keep your options open and learn how to Mantourage date, okay? Now, a lot of women try to give me a fake version of Mantourage dating. Mantourage dating is not just going out with one guy that you really like and then dating a couple guys on the side that, you know, I'm just ticking the box and going on a date, like Jen said. And that's Mantourage dating. No, ma'am, that is not. And you are doing yourself no favors. None. No favors at all. And it's really important for you to actually go out on dates with different types of men who really give that one guy, the one that we have a tendency to focus on, give him a run for his money. That's certainly what I did with my current husband. And boy, does it work beautifully. Regardless, I mean, you win either way. Think about this. Let's say he doesn't step up. Let's say he ends up with some other woman, things like that. That's the universe protecting you, by the way, but we don't recognize it in the moment because we're so caught up in that, oh, God, I just want him. And then in the chemistry. But let's say that he doesn't step up. You're still going to end up with an amazing guy anyway, one that knocks your socks off and one that you're going to have an incredible relationship. So you win either way, whether it's with him or whether it's with another man. You always win in Mantourage dating. Okay? It is a winning system. That's the bottom line of it if you give yourself permission to explore it. So again, today, I want you to go to mantouragedating.com and get a free 3-day class with me to learn how to start Mantourage dating properly. Because Mantourage dating is not a half-ass experience. You're not a half-ass woman, and it is not a half-ass experience, and it's not something that, it's a lifestyle. It's something that you're going to incorporate into your life, and it is not hard. There is some upfront work to do, of course, and you can definitely start to learn about that in mantouragedating.com. By the way, if you're curious how to spell Mantourage dating, that is man, M-A-N-T-O-U-R-A-G-E dating.com. Go there, get that free 3-day class. It is important for you to give yourself permission to have an incredible love life. Also, just a reminder, Mantourage dating doesn't mean you have to sleep with multiple men. It does not mean that at all. Not even a little bit. I've had clients that have waited over a year to sleep with men. I had a client one time just because she wanted to and she felt like, and it really resonated with her. She didn't kiss her boyfriend for a year and he was still wildly in love with her. So I don't want you to make Mantourage dating to mean something that it doesn't. I want you to understand that this is an opportunity. Yes, you are going to be out of your comfort zone. Yes, you're going to have to buck the normal dating rules and regulations that people like to give you and, you know, all the red flags and things like that. Not that there aren't red flags. There definitely aren't. And I've talked about that on other podcasts. But his inconsistency at the beginning, let him be inconsistent. It doesn't matter. You can have so much fun learning how to Mantourage date that you're going to win no matter what. And it just may be if he's lucky enough with him. Okay, lover girl, it's time for the final thought on today's show. Not hearing from him consistently in the beginning, although not fun, is nothing to fret about or get rid of him for, if you have a thriving Mantourage dating experience.
Hey again, lover girl. Don't forget to subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app, as well as share this episode with all of your single smart girlfriends. And if you're ready to finally have your own romantic fairy godmama at your fingertips, meet me at secretsocietyofAdoredWomen.com to schedule your application interview.